So for this video, I have the song Omega Man. It's a song I wrote the music and lyrics to probably about 18 years ago now, approximately 2002, 2003, somewhere around that time frame. And I purchased a new keyboard at the time. It was the Korg Triton LE, and it had so many cool sounds on it. And a lot of my songs I write specifically now more than ever is on the keyboard, because once you start playing some sounds, it takes you into another. It so inspires you. And this song was no different. So as I said, I had this state-of-the-art keyboard pretty much at the time. It was about $800. I guess it wasn't state-of-the-art. It was inexpensive, but $800 back 18 years ago was a good chunk of money. So I wrote, this might have been the only song I did original-wise. I did a cover of Little Drummer Boy, and I did I did another song. I did another original. So I only did a couple originals. The keyboard is actually featured in the video that is on YouTube that you can reference back, or hopefully listen to the song first and then check this out, and then listen back to the song again once you see the breakdown. But anyway, and you're going to hear that all the sounds here come from the keyboard, the Triton, Korg Triton LE, and also my Roland V custom drum set, which I purchased that set in 2000. So the gong here, the tambourine, the toms, the growl, all that comes from the Roland V custom set. Now the sequencer parts, the synthesizer parts, all come from the Triton LE. So you have two instruments complete. Oh, and I also forgot the bass. So the bass guitar, and I think I said the growl. No, the growl comes from the drum set. That's right. Oh boy, I'm bouncing all over the place here, but oh well, I guess that's what makes this fun. So there's only two instruments involved: the keyboard, the drum set, and then the vocals. So let's go ahead and start out with what inspired me to make this song. I mean, I wanted to make a song called The Omega Man, but it wasn't like I had anything in mind. I didn't know how I wanted it to sound. I didn't know how I wanted the vocals to go. I didn't know how I wanted the melody to go, the lyrics, none of that. But once I played this sound, and I don't recall the name of the sound. I think it might be on my track sheet. Let's take a look at that. With the particular sound from the keyboard, not that it really matters probably to the majority of the people watching the video, but let me play it, and then we'll discuss it after that. So the song begins with this sequencer, and you can hear a bunch of different elements in the sequencer. Now this is just a factory sound. There's nothing, I added nothing to it. So you hold the button down or the key down, and this comes out, and it's amazing. All right, so here we go. So there's a lot of elements going on in there. I hear a vibra slap, which is a little percussion instrument. You hit, and it's kind of like sounds like a rattlesnake, like a. There's a bell, some sort of a bell. You got a drum, some sort of a drum pattern going. You got the some industrial sounds. So you got a lot going on here. I never sat down and worked out every single element that's part of it. But again, this is a factory setting. I had nothing to do with anything that you're hearing. It's just push a button and that sound comes out. So as you can see here, it runs the length of the song. Now the song is actually song was recorded I didn't realize this until right now, but so it runs out until 8 minutes and 40 seconds now. However, the song ends about the 5 minute mark realistically because I faded it out right about here. So there's more of the song. I could make an extended version of it, and here's another verse of me singing just for the hell of it. So, but anyway, so that whole sequence runs the entire length of the song. So it was just basically again me holding keys down for that entire length of time. It wasn't like I it wasn't like I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so we'll just leave it at that. So that's the sequencer. Now, the synthesizer is the performance part. So I'm going to let you hear that. This is, again, just holding, let me listen to this. Okay, so again, those are just factory sound. I did no tampering with it. I did no adjustments, anything of that nature. So again, that's some sort of a apocalyptic sound there going on. Again, just playing the keys, hitting the key, holding the keys down and making that crazy sound like that. I'm going to jump ahead to the lead here. And here's a little lead that I'm playing. This is a different sound from what I recall. Let me solo it out and let you hear it. So this is me playing. I'm playing everything, singing everything, by the way. So yes, I'm that talented. I'm that guy. Ha! So here you go. Here's a solo. I'll play it in its entirety, and then after this is done, I'll put everything together and let you hear it, how it sounds all together, solo it out from the rest of the song. Okay, so that's the entire solo. It's another sound. Almost has sort of a guitar type sound to it. All right, so let's go ahead and put everything together, synthesizer wise. I still have the bass left to preview, but so let's go ahead and I'll play a little bit of each of us, a little bit of each of these things, and I'll skip ahead to the solo section so you can hear that all together. So here we go. So it definitely has a post-apocalyptic sound to it, and you know, this is setting up the environment for the Mega Man song, and I was like, man, this is perfect. This is capturing what I'm looking for, totally by accident. I mean, I had no preconceived ideas of what the hell I'm going to do with this song, how I'm going to, you know, it just bam, sounds happen. It starts creating a vibe, and I'm off and running. So here's I'm going to play a little bit of the solo mixed in with all the keyboards so you can hear how that sounds isolated with just the keyboard synthesizer tracks. All right, so you get the idea. Now when you listen to the song, you'll be able to pick these parts out. Now, prior to this little demonstration I'm doing here, I went in and I cut elements out of the track. So, for instance, there was only 2 vocal tracks. So as you see here, I made 4. So I put the lead and originally it was the lead. All these 4 tracks were 2. So I had I'm calling it the infected vocals. Those are the family, the infected family in the Omega Man movie. That's them singing that part of the song, and you can tell because it's deep and demented sounding. And then I have the lead vocals here and the backing vocals. Now I don't know why I went to that. Oh, okay. So yeah, so I broke elements out of, because back when I was recording this, I had an 8-track digital recorder, and you can see here I've got I've got 15 tracks here, but I only had 8 at the time. So I had to put. You had that old trick back when you're limited with tracks. You can do 2 things. You can bounce. You can record up to 7 tracks and then bounce all that to one, the 8th track, and then you clear the 7 tracks, and then you can record everything. But you got to mix it down, and you got to do it right, And that's that was not something I was ever comfortable doing. So I had to put the solo, like the keyboard solo you heard was on the vocal track. So I pulled that out. And as you see here now, it's on its own separate track. So now I can EQ it and pan it and do all kinds of crazy crap that I want to do with it to my heart's content. And then likewise for the drums, I had the toms, the tambourine, the gong, the growl. I had all that on 2 tracks. So I had to go in and remove everything. So here I removed all the gong elements from the track, and then I removed the tambourine portion from the track. And the toms, I went ahead and the toms only had 1 track, but I went ahead and duplicated them, the toms, and I panned it left and right, so it has a more fuller sound now. That's one of the things I was never happy about with the recording, was the toms I thought were a little weak. It's a cool recording. I think it stands up pretty cool regardless, but in my mind that it needed beefier toms. So and I'm going to end up doing another mix eventually of it. But in this demonstration, it's going to have the bigger tom sound than is on the video that I have currently, which is the original mix. So let me play the bass track, or the bass guitar, I guess you could call it. It's actually synth bass, but it gives that bass sound to it, which is supposed to be kind of like a bass guitar. It's almost kind of like a slap type of thing. Now the interesting thing about this bass part is, especially on this section here, and I'll go ahead and solo it out here shortly, but this is actually like a drum pattern I'm playing on the bass. Now if you look at a keyboard, there's black keys, so this bass is played on only black keys. And when it comes to this section here, I'm doing a drum pattern. So it's kind of like a left, right, left, 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 right, left, left, right, left, right, right. It's like a paradiddle. So that's kind of like my drumming expertise, if you want to call it, coming into play on this. It's kind of cool. It's a real funky vibe. It's almost kind of like almost like a hip hop type sound, but that's not what I was going for. So let me go ahead and play a little bit of the bass, and then we'll go to this section here where I get a little funky with it. So. right, so that's that, and that's a real nice bass sound. I love that sound. It's got a real nice, crisp, tight punch to it. It really cuts through that recording. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and play the funky part, the paradiddle drum part, and you can see here there's a lot of, you can see by this wave here, there's a lot going on. It's really a really active track going on here. Here we go. And there you go. That's a cool little bass line I came up with that song. So let's put them all together again. So let's just put all the synth parts again together. We'll go ahead and take it back to the beginning here. All right, so I'll go ahead and fast forward a bit here. Now move it to this funky little part here. All right, so there's that. So we're done with all the synth parts, so we can move on from here. I'll go ahead and play the growl. I like animal sounds, and especially love these kind of sounds. This is like a tiger growling sound. Now, on my Roland V Custom set, it had a can't remember the name of the set. These particular set I used. I'll have to try to dig into that information. But if you hit the cymbal, you had the one cymbal pad. It had this growl on it, and I was like, "Oh man, that is perfect." So I went back and I says, I was thinking about that set because that growl is with the gong and the tambourine. So all that stuff's together on this one particular drum set. So it's kind of like a sound effects drum kit that is. Again, it's a factory kit that comes in the Roland, and hey, there you go. Let me solo this out and let you hear the growl. There you go. It's that simple. Now it shows up again here. It's kind of like in rapid succession here. So there's only 4 events in the song where the growl actually comes in. So I'll go ahead and put everything in so you can hear the growl, how it's situated with the sound and the song. And I'll go ahead and I'll just jack the volume up like crazy and see so you can stand out. Here we go. And there you go, the growl. Let's hear it again. Why not? Let's hear it again. I love that sound. It's so cool. Funny story, when my daughter, at the time when I made the song, so my daughter would have been about 4 or 5, something like that. She was in the back seat, obviously, in her little car seat, and that sound of that tiger would be right in her ear, and she's like, "Oh, Daddy, a lion," So that was always some fond memories of that. Okay, so let's move on to the gong. So we'll let you hear that. And I'm separating the elements out so you can hear what they sound like on their own, but it's not going to sound like much, but at least you can hear it, what it sounds like independent of the song, and pick these parts out. It's obviously going to help if you have your headphones on, because you'll hear things more clearly, and I highly recommend that. So here's the gong. right, so yeah, see, it doesn't sound like a whole lot going on there uh, until you put it into the context of the rest of the song. So we'll go ahead and throw it in with the song now. Okay, so I mean, nothing magical about the gong. I mean, I just threw it in there, you know. I like sounds like that. I like lion sounds. I like all kinds of monster sounds. I like gongs. That has a real nice, rich sound to it, and it sounded really good in this song. No other particular reason, and I thought it sounded cool. There's no agenda behind it. Excuse me. All right, so let's move on to the toms now, and we'll go ahead and solo those out. There we go. Now, unfortunately, with this, I never really noticed it until I listened to it today. I never noticed it before, but the problem you have with electronic drums is there's something called crosstalk. And what happens is one drum that you hit can trigger another drum or another sound. In this instance here, if you listen carefully, you can hear kind of like a cymbal. Sounds like a cymbal rattling on a cymbal stand. Now, it's electronics. I mean, it's not like I had a microphone there, but some crazy reason, well, not a crazy reason, it's just called cross-sticking. It's just picking up the sound from the cymbal. And you don't hear it when it's mixed in with the song, but, you know, it's a little annoying, you know, hearing it by itself, because you do like to keep everything as quiet as possible. So you go through and you edit stuff out and edit all these space out, empty space, you know, so that, you know, stuff doesn't creep in, and, you know, you have something loud on one track and something loud on another that doesn't belong in it. Before you know it, you got a bunch of racket in the background. So I like to try to keep everything as sterile as possible. So listen again. I'll play it again and see if you can hear kind of like a cymbal sound or rattle. You would have just heard it there. Whoops. Oh, shoot. There we go. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard it there. It's like that metallic sound. So prior to me adding the other drums, doubling up the drums, here's what it sounded like. I put an effect on it too. I put some compression on it, so it's a little bit more beefier sounding than the video version that's on YouTube. So I put this live drum sound and just really cranked up the volume. So the overall volume of this mix I'm demoing is a lot more beefier and louder than the video YouTube video mix. Yeah, the drums just, it doesn't have that real deep sound I wanted, so I'm gonna probably eventually maybe put some other drums on it down the road, but who knows when, you know. So let's play a little bit of that again. So we can do this thing here where we click on the WAV file, and you can kind of, this is crazy, I know, it's like you can get into the molecular level of the particular note. See, like right there, you can hear kind of like that metallic sound here. See? Let's see here. I'm sure you hear that. You hear that remnants of a cymbal stand. So you could get in here and cut this out and kind of minimize that a little bit if you wanted. But there again, um, it's not something that's a make or break type of thing. It's not that big a deal. I mean, like I said, once you get the rest of the song cranking, you're not even going to hear it. But que sera, sera, I guess. So yeah, you can stretch this out as far as you want. You can just get in there and really needle into these notes and do all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, you can change the EQ. I mean, it's ridiculous what you can do with this program, this Logic Pro program, the Apple proprietary program. So we'll move on from the toms and we'll go to the tambourine. So I'll let you hear that. I have a compressor on that as well. I didn't think I put that one on there. Nope, I didn't. Okay, here. Whoop. All right. So let's do that again. Change the volume of that? No. Okay. So I have this. Yeah, here it is. I got this 16th sequencer slapback sound going on it. All right, let's find it. There it is. You get these things out like that, it's kind of hard to find. That's kind of got something irritating going on too. This was played on my electronic set, like I alluded to before, but it's got some kind of weird kind of sound going on. It's like you can hear some kind of a almost like something tapping a table, like you're tapping a table or something. So again, I think it's somehow the sound of me hitting the pad was translating over to that sound. But again, it'll get lost in the mix. You won't even hear it. So, all right. So let's move on next to the vocals. So for the vocals, I have the lead vocals and the backing vocals is Neville. He's the good guy, basically the last man on Earth in the Mega Man movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. If you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. So it's Charlton Heston. He's the good guy. So that is represented by the lead and backing vocals. The infected vocals, again, like I said before, that is the family. So they got kind of a demented sound to them. I just kind of did a deep voice to represent that. Could probably add something to make it sound a little more demonic, maybe, or a little more, ominous sounding. But I guess it sounds all right, at this point. So let's go ahead and play the vocals by themselves.
All by myself, but not what you think. I struggle to live each and every day.
All right, so you can hear in the background, you can hear the noise, the bleed from my headphones. So between the vocals, you can hear that. Now, that's something, again, I can go in and I can cut out all this space. Here's the vocal wave. wave file. So if I go in and just splice, I'll show you how you do that, by the way. So you get your little scissors here, and you just simply cut like that, and then since I'm not really paying a whole lot of attention, I'll just do a quick little. I'll mute it. So then you get your little mute tool here, and you mute the sound. So here's what it would sound like. You should not hear any bleed from the headphones now.
All by myself.
See, it totally cut out that bleed. So let me play it. Let me play it again with the bleed and then without it.
All by myself.
So you can kind of hear me, licking my lips or swallowing or whatever. You can kind of hear the maybe the air conditioning running in the background to the apartment, and then the bleed from the microphones. So once again, with the muted.
All by myself. But.
And there you go. That's what you do. You could mute. I could just go through and do that on all the empty spaces here. And again, you can get to the molecular level practically, so you can see how you can just get it. I mean, exactly. If this is the something like right here, just whack right here and just whack that part out. Okay, so now I'll put the backing vocals in, so you can hear it. It's kind of like a nice little call and response, Neville to himself. So here we go. I'll put that in.
I struggle to live. I struggle to live each and every day.
Okay, so there you go. That's the vocals for the Omega Man, the lead vocals and the background vocals together. So let's do the Infected. Okay, so let's go ahead and solo them out, and then I'll do all the vocals together. So here comes the Infected, and you're going to hear the voice is going to be a lot more ominous sounding, right? Here we go.
You think that you have the cure. You think that you know it all. Up there in your one-man suite.
Okay, there you have it. That's the Infected. So let's do everything together. I won't play everything, but we'll just take it from this part here and do a little bit of that. So let's put all the vocals together. Here we go. That's off and running.
I struggle to live. I struggle to live each and every day. You think that you have the cure. You think that you know it all.
Okay, there we have it. So I've run through all the tracks that make up the song. I think I ran through everything. Let me double check. Yeah, I ran through everything. So now we can go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and play it for a little bit. Maybe skip around some sections or something. Let's see. I'll actually what I'll do is I'll play just a little bit of it, and then we'll go and I'll preview this part that has never been heard before. I haven't heard it in probably 18 years, so we'll play a little bit of this ride-out section, because sometimes in these ride-out sections, you call it, I kind of start goofing around and, just kind of might be going off a little bit, so I don't know. I'll have to check it out. So here's the Omega Man from the top with everything thrown in, and it's not mixed per se. It's kind of roughly mixed. I haven't spent any time with it. There's no, I'm sorry, yeah, there is stuff. There is effects on the vocals. I didn't think I had any effects on that. So, but not everything has effects on it. Only a few items I've been playing around with. So here we go. Let's take it from the top.
what you think. I struggle to live. I struggle to live each and every day. You think that you have the cure. You think that you know it all. Up there in your one-man suite. Omega Man. Omega Man. Sometimes I think back on the things we did.
Okay, one thing, one thing that I wanted to point out. Oh, okay, yeah. In regard to the toms, this is something I still need to do. Now, I did the original mix on the Roland 880EX is the model. Excuse me. What I was doing when the toms were hitting is I was taking the pan knob, and I was doing this. I was going, hit, 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 hit. So I was going, left, left, right, right, and I was panning it. I was panning it, left to right. So again, I encourage you to listen with headphones. You can hear the tom starting in the far left of your ear, and it's going to end on there's 4 beats, 4 tom hits. So the fourth hit is going to end up on your far right ear. That's something I haven't done yet with this. Again, like I did a mix on the Roland, and I ended up taking all my songs and transferring them over to my computer a long time ago. So essentially, I have to start from scratch and remix and do another mix on this new system. So I just want to point that out. So when you're hearing this recording, it's just the toms are in the left and the right. They're split. There's nothing going on that way. So all right. So the song ends right about this mark. It's like the 5-minute mark. So I'm going to play out a little bit of this, what happens after the video mix. This is kind of what was playing. There's another 3 minutes. I won't play it all, but here you go. Here's some of the rest of it.
The cure. The cure. Omega Man. Got the cure, got the cure. You think that you know it all. Okay, so really nothing too terribly exciting.
I just kept singing for the hell of it. I really got into it, is why. And yeah, as a very excited. One of my favorite songs still to this day. I'm really proud of it. Um, so why not have fun with it when you're recording it? Um, yeah, here's the lyrics. Here's the lyrics for it. I don't know if you want to read them or not, but anyway. Okay, so 2005. Okay, so thought it was a lot. Well, I guess that could be right. Okay, so I think around 2005 I did it. So still, it's about 15 years ago. Yeah, so that's the Omega Man song, and I hope you'll watch the video again, or watch the video and then watch this, and then watch the video and then watch this, and then watch the video, and ha ha ha, all this, that, and the other. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the track sheet. Here we go. Okay, so now it's 2004 when I recorded it. Okay, so Psycho Kit was the name of the drum sound. Psycho Kit is the name of the drum sound I used, and then I had for the bass is called, the preset was called Slap Bass. And see if I got any other names of anything here I can see. Okay, Big Sweep Stab was the keyboard sound. Okay, so there we go. We got Psycho Kit for the drums and all that basic stuff going on. We got the Big Sweep Stab for the other synth sound, and then we got the Slap Bass. Okay, and you can see here that I only had 8 tracks to work with. So I had the drums on track 7 and 8. I had the vocals on track 6, and then I had some notes here on how to set the levels, etc. And you can see here I had the keys on track 1, 2, bass on 3. I had the drums. I had the percussion and the growl on track 4, and a tambourine and a gong. And then on track 5, I had the keyboard solo backing vocals. So I was it was almost like I was performing when I was mixing down. I was doing faders up and down, volume faders up and down, because you can see here I had a -8, and then I brought it up to 0 for drums. And then again, like I said, I was panning. When the drums came in, I was panning from left to right. So interestingly enough, on Christmas night 2004, from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. I was working. Christmas morning, actually, I was working on this. And then on January 2nd, 2005, I worked on the lead vocals, backing, keyboard, bass, drums, keyboard solo, mixed down. So I worked. Okay, so that must have been when I overdubbed all that stuff. And then I did a remix of the song on 1/8. Fixed the bass note at the beginning. Okay, so I had a messed up bass note apparently that I had to fix that was bothering me. And the master volume was set at -8 for mixing. Okay, so this is kind of cool. This is why we keep these things. We can go back and it's fun to look at these. My friend Tom sent me these rolling track sheets. That was kind of cool to use these. So anyway, it's a lot of fun looking at that stuff. All right, so we are at the 45-minute mark, and I could keep rambling on. I didn't know it was going to take this long. I thought it'd be in about 15 minutes, and here we go. So that is the Omega Man song, and I hope you enjoy.